of the Music Dreams USA Radio Artist Spotlight Show. And a special thank you to Stephen Brady and Blue Shamrock record label up in Australia for supplying all these amazing artists. And speaking of amazing artists, we have another amazing artist you're going to meet here right now in just a few moments. His name is Lance Burrow, and he is from Australia. And so let's go live now and meet our special guest. Lance, how are you, sir? How you doing?
Hey Russell, how are you, champ?
I am doing well, and thank you so much for taking time out here to be with us on the Music Dreams USA Radio Artist Spotlight Show. And so let's kick off our show. And can you maybe share with our listeners a little bit about you, like how you got into music, and what are you doing right now as far as the music scene goes?
Right, well, I've been involved with music for many, many years. I started learning to get the guitar when I was a teenager, and several other instruments as well. And then I played in the school band. I played drums in the school band, and then migrated to the guitar. Um, and then when I left school, when I was 17 years old, a local band in our local hometown from South Australia hit me up to see if I'd like to join them and play guitar with the band. So I joined those guys for quite a few years, just playing guitar. I just played lead guitar. I didn't even sing at all at that stage. And then they pushed me up the front and said, "It's about time you started singing, boy." So away I went from there, and I just did harmonies and then started to lead sing. So I did that for a few years, and then started touring with other bands after that, and did some duo and solo work, and been flat out ever since, pretty much.
That's awesome. So, what are
Yeah.
some of your musical highlights thus far in your career? Are there any highlights that stick out to you? Which ones would they be, and why are they so important to you?
Well, I do a lot of big festivals, country festivals. I play all sorts of music. I do instrumental stuff and easy listening music, country, rock and roll, 70s and 80s rock music as well. But country's sort of my favourite. It's in my blood a bit. So I've done a lot of country festivals over the last 30 years, really. Some big ones over here in Australia. Tamworth Festival's a big one. It's the sister city to Nashville. So they have a big festival that goes for 10 days, right round the clock. I'm on that every year. Some other big outdoor festivals they have. I've toured with a lot of people, top artists from here, done some work with Keith Urban back in the day before he went to the States. So I've been around and done a fair bit over the last, well, 20 odd years, I guess.
Wow, that's awesome. So, you had opportunity to tour with Keith Urban. What was that like?
Yeah, we did a fair bit of duo work back in the 90s. Yeah, great artist. I knew he was always going to be a big hit. He had the talent, he had the looks, he had everything. Great songwriter, and yeah, he just went in leaps and bounds. I tried to talk him out of going to the States. I thought, oh, you're not going to do any good over there, mate. There's thousands over there to do what you do, but he proved me wrong, so I'm glad he did it.
Do you still keep in contact with him?
No, not now. No, I haven't spoken to him for quite a while now, but yeah, he's doing good things, which is great.
That's awesome. That's what I
Mm,
love about the music industry. When you get an opportunity, it's all about what you do with that opportunity, right? And
yeah,
Keith Urban is a great example. He took the opportunity and now he's like, he's a country music superstar.
yeah.
Any other big name artists that you've dealt with in the past?
Not from over there. Quite a few here. I've toured with Troy Casadale's good artist here. We've been good mates. We started together, bussing and singing on the street in Tamworth Festival, the pair of us, and then I got to tour with him, and we're still good mates now. And Becky Cole and Adam Harvey, another couple of big artists. I've done film clips with them and played with them and toured with them, and but now I just sort of do my own thing. I jump in with bands every now and then. I do still play lead guitar. I play pedal steel as well, which is not a lot of us over here. Not like over there, you'd have steel players everywhere, but over here it's a bit of a rare breed, the pedal steel players. So I do jump in with bands and play pedal steel quite a bit. When I'm not doing that, I just do solo shows all over the country, really.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, thank you
Mm,
so much for sharing that with us. What
Yeah.
is some of like the best advice that's been given to you as it pertains to your music career?
You just got to work at it. You just got to start at the bottom, and that's what I tell all the young ones that are up and coming. They win the talent quests, and I say, well, you just got to keep plugging away. You got to write songs, um, work hard everywhere you can, and then slowly work your way up to where you got to be. And that's how you do it. Just do the hard yards, do the groundwork, and then away you go.
So, with the music industry, right? Let's kind of go a little fast forward here. What do you think about the music of today compared to maybe when you first got into the music industry? So, what are your thoughts about the music of today?
Um, yeah, it's quite a bit different than it was when I started out. It's sort of more mainstream, the country side of things, more into the poppy mainstream, more than traditional. Uh, I like a bit of both. I don't mind some of the new stuff as well. I mainly play the older type country. I do a few newer ones, more of the 70s and 80s, 90s country I do. But it's sort of changed over the years. Hopefully, it doesn't go too far left wing. Hopefully, it stays and keeps its roots, which would be a shame to lose it completely. But that's the way it seems to go. But see what happens.
Yeah, I would agree. Me personally, I'm all about like the country. Since we talk about country music, when you talk to me about country music, right? I talk about the godfathers of country music. I'm referring to the John Denvers, um,
Yeah,
Kenny Rogers,
yeah,
those guys, even like Charlie Daniels. I mean, those guys were kind of, in my opinion, and just my opinion, those guys were kind of like the roots of country music, and kind of what you hear today is, in my opinion, is not what you hear back in the day. And I feel like there's a little more rap in country music now. And I mean, me personally, I don't think rap should have a place in country music. I mean, what are your thoughts about that statement? Do you agree or disagree?
no, I agree. I think it's going more rap, more pop country, which is a bit of a shame. I'd like to see it stay country, country. I grew up on like Johnny Cash. He was real country. Mel Haggard's huge influence. Massive Mel Haggard fan. And then guys like Dwight Yoakam that had the Bakersfield sound but was still country. Alan Jackson, all those sorts of guys. George Strait, big fan of George Strait's. That sort of stuff. I'd like to see it stay that way rather than go too far the other way, um, which would be good.
Where have you performed, and what are your favorite or least favorite venues? And do you have any upcoming shows?
Well, I'm actually on the road full time. This is what I do. I live in a caravan, which I think you guys call a trailer over there. Where my wife and I are full time on the road. I just did a 3 hour show last night at the club here. I'm in Albury in New South Wales, and then I've got today's my down day, so the rest of the vocals, and then I've got another 3 hour show tomorrow night, and then every weekend I've got something on, a couple of shows at least every weekend, and I'm pretty much booked up till nearly the end of next year, which is crazy, but it's good. But no, we've done some great shows. Last night was a Wednesday night here, so to get 250 people at a show on a Wednesday night is excellent. Great venue, and played some really good outdoor festivals. The Gympie Muster's a big one. They get that's the biggest crowd I've played to so far. I think 45,000 people. Did main stage at the Gympie Muster a few years ago to 45,000 people. That's just huge, and yeah, can't beat that. I don't think.
That's awesome. I was just going to
Mm,
ask you about that too. I mean, obviously, as you mentioned, you've been in the music industry for a while now. Do
yeah.
you get any like pre-event jitters? I mean, do you get nervous before a show?
Not normally now, but a big crowd like that, yeah, that was pretty jittery. So what happens? They have two big stages, big outdoors, and one curtain goes up on one while you're setting up on the other one, and then the curtain goes up, and you just see all these sea of heads for as far as you can see, and it's a bit. Then you go, oh, that's a bit nerve wracking, and you start the jitters. But once you get into it, you're right, and you feed off that nervous energy. I think gives you that pump, and it works in your performance, I think.
Do you have any like pre-event rituals that you do prior to going live on stage?
Not normally. Maybe do a few vocal exercises, just warm up things occasionally if I need to. But most of the time, no, we just set up and go for it, and hopefully it works.
How do you read a crowd? I mean, if you're on stage in front of like a huge crowd like that, I mean, what are some of the tricks you use to like to kind of read a crowd to see if they're digging what you're playing, or maybe you have to switch things up? I mean, what are some of the things you look for?
That's what I try and teach the young up and coming artists. That's the most important thing, is being able to read the crowd, what they're into, what they're not into, what works, what doesn't work. Um, at a country festival, you're right, because they're there for country music, so you can play all that. In a club show like last night, I had half country and then half wanted Elvis Presley and Buddy Holly and all the rock and roll stuff. So I'd give them a bit of both, and you can see when, if they're sitting at the tables tapping along, they're tapping their feet, but the dance floor was chockers, packed out all night. The whole dance floor was full. So when they're dancing like that, you know you're doing something right. So you can work them out like that.
That's awesome. That's
Mm.
awesome. So I've got a question from Shannon. She's up in Florida,
Yep.
and her question is, do you sing in the shower? If so, what songs do you sing? Thank you,
No,
Shannon. Thanks for lighting up the Music Dreams USA Radio Artist Spotlight Show.
um, not normally. I don't normally sing in the shower. Every now and then, if I'm learning a new song, if I'm trying to remember the words of a new song, I might sing along a little bit of in the shower to get it in my head before I go and perform it, but not normally. Sometimes I do, because the steam is good for your vocals, in the hot shower and the steam in before you go and do a show, but not normally. No.
Okay. So let me ask you this question. Obviously, you know you write songs and everything, right?
Yep.
What does your songwriting look like? I know some artists. I mean, we asked this question. It seems like a million times, right? I mean, some artists have a computer with all the words, and what they do is they kind of line up the words to the beats of the songs they want to put together, and then you have some artists that actually just write on personal experiences. What does your songwriting look like?
A bit of both. I normally write the words first. Occasionally, I'll write a tune. I do write a few instrumentals, so I've got a few instrumentals that are originals. Um, and then when I do a vocal, an actual song, probably write the words first normally, and then put the tune to it when I work out what sort of feel I want it to be. I've written an Anzac song. I was asked by the RSL clubs over here to write an Anzac song, so I've done that. And then I also wrote a personal song about my wife that struggled with the cancer battle for
Oh.
9 years. So she's got the all clear now, but because I used to have to leave her behind and go away and do shows and tour and leave her at home because she just couldn't come. So, and then that was the hardest thing to do, leave her behind when she was sick all the time. And we had kids and they were trying to look after her and help her out. And I ended up writing a song about that called Driving Away and Leaving Her Behind, all my experience and personal feelings about the whole setup. So that was a personal song. And we've actually done a film clip and recorded that. So I'll have to send you that one.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. And
Mm.
thank you for sharing that story. And, you know, that's what
Yep.
makes music so great. You know, you put in some unfortunate situations and through those situations and, you know, and through the perseverance, it allows you an opportunity to learn and grow from that situation and maybe turn, and just like you did, you turn that situation into a beautiful song. And we can hardly wait to hear that. And we're going to dedicate that to you and your wife tomorrow on the Russell K, Alexa, and Shauna Morning Show. And we look forward to doing that. So
That'd
thank you
be
for sharing that.
fantastic. Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you.
Yes, oh, definitely,
Yeah.
it's our pleasure. And so another question for you is how do you feel about the internet? Do you feel like it has impacted the music industry?
Yeah, probably. The downloading of songs really is not helping the artist. It is to get it out there, but it's financially no. It's impacted CD sales and DVD sales and all that by the live streaming and the live downloading. So it's good in some ways because you can get your music out to the world where you couldn't before. You were limited where you could get your music out there, but that's helped that. But financially, no, it's not a good thing. But not for us artists. We make nothing out of it really. But it's good to get it out there.
Right.
Mm.
It's kind of funny you say that because you're like the third artist that we've asked that question to. And
Yep.
and all three artists kind of said the same thing. So my next question is this.
Mm.
If you could change one thing to make it better for the artist as it relates to internet, the download of music, the internet, all that. If there's one thing you could change to make it better, what would that be?
Oh, just probably need to be more financially viable for us to do that. Um, that's probably the only issue, I think. Is you only get a couple of cents a song or something like that. It's not much. It's not really worthwhile in that way. So if they could change that in some way so it benefits the artists a bit more, that would be good.
Got you. All
Mm.
right, here comes another question. This is from Josh up in Seattle, Washington. Hey, Josh, nice to meet you, and thanks for your question. So, his question is, what would you do? What would you be doing right now if it wasn't for your music career?
I'd probably have to do day work. I used to do day work, full time job before I decided to do this. I've only been doing this full time. Well, I used to do it full time before I got married and had kids. I was on the road when I was doing stuff with Keith and back then, and then went back to a day work. I drive cranes. That was my day work.
Oh,
Mobile
wow.
cranes, mobile cranes, tower cranes, all that sort of stuff. So I've recently just got out of that because we decided we wanted to go on the road. We tried to do this when COVID hit everywhere, over there and over here. It just shut everything down. Live performances were gone basically. So it gave us time to do some recording. That was the only good thing about it while we weren't performing live. But yeah, so now I'm on the road full time, as I say, and it's flat out, which is good. But before that, I was doing day work, and if there was no music, I'd have to do that, I guess.
Do you have it? So it sounds like you're super busy, as you mentioned earlier in the show.
Mm.
Is it all about like networking, repeated business? How are you able to get your shows and be booked so far out?
Bit of both. Bit of it I organise. I ring ahead and talk to clubs and hotels and all that sort of thing, and book runs. You've got to go. You can't go here and then there and back here and back there because that doesn't work. Book a run in. So you try and lock them all together. But then I usually play somewhere and they'll ring me back or they'll email me back straight away and go, when can you come back here again? Which is good.
Wow,
So you know you've actually gone okay, really good, and had a good night, and they'll say, "Oh, people are asking when can you come back the
that's
next day,
awesome.
basically." So that's great. That's what you want. Yeah,
If you had an opportunity to open up for one famous artist, who would it be and why?
one famous artist. Oh, there's so many people out there. I'd love to. Um,
Oh, you can choose more than one if you want.
I would have loved to got together with Mel Haggard. Unfortunately, he's not around now, but he would be one guy I'd just love to spend time with and sit down and write songs with and just jam with because I grew up with him and I just loved his music. There's not such thing as a bad Mel Haggard song. They're all fantastic. They're all great. And he had so many good songs.
What would you do if I told you that I know the son of Merle Haggard?
You do,
I do. His name is Dale Houston.
right?
And yeah, he's an amazing country artist and he's just rocking and rolling right now. His name is Dale Houston. He's actually the son of Merle Haggard. And we've actually done some stuff with him. And that's one thing I love about what we do. You have relationships and you meet people that are friends for life. And that's one of the things I love the most about the music industry. What about you?
Yeah, well, say hello when you're talking to him from me. That'd be
I
fantastic.
will.
I'd
I
love
will
to meet.
definitely do that.
I'd love to meet and chat with him. He'd be great. Well, he's definitely got the roots come from the top down. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, they say. So he's got the talent then from path down. But yeah, no, it'd be good to talk to guys like that because they're big influences, and yeah, fantastic.
So let's kind of like scale back a little bit here and talk about the people or the artists, we should say, about who are up and coming. Maybe they're not right where you are right here and now, but what encouragement or what feedback would you give them to try to get to where you are right now?
I've just got to work at it, learn the ropes, even learn to read music, learn to chart side of things, learn all the background side of things as well, like and the PR work, the emailing, the contacting. That's all the behind the scenes stuff, which most people don't see. They just see you on stage and think that's all you have to do. But there's a lot of background work to get there. So you've got to do all that behind the scenes work as well. So they've got to step up and take that on board and learn all that side of things as well as just being able to stand on stage and sing a couple of songs.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I've learned in the music industry, get used to rejection because it's coming. And when it comes, it's like, how do you react to the rejection? Some people take it personal, and that's the last you see of them. Some people use it as motivation, and it helps them to get to the next step. Would you agree with that?
Yep. I've had it. Everyone has it at some stage. So you've just got to you take it personally, and then you go, all right, I'm not going to worry about that anymore. Let's just move on, push through it, and put it in your favour to maybe improve something you think you need to improve on, or yeah, just push forward and go forward from there, and don't dwell on it because it'll bring you undone, and then you'll chuck it in, and that'll be the end of it. So you just got to work through it.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yep.
So, what is some of the best advice you've ever been given? What is it, and how does it apply to you today?
Um, Work hard. Put in the groundwork. Put in the hard yards. Appearance is a good thing. Dress wise, don't go on stage looking like you've just crawled out of bed. um,
Do
be
you
be
actually
as
think there's artists to do that though?
be as professional as you can. I guess that's the thing. And then even the small shows doesn't matter whether they're small. It's small crowd of 10 people or 45,000. Treat it the same. Enjoy it. Put in as much as you can put in, and make it a good show.
Yeah, I love hearing you say that. And I'll tell you why. When I went to the Columbia School of Broadcasting, to learn about radio and all that good stuff, right?
Yep.
One of the things that we were taught that when you're in front of a crowd, it doesn't matter how big or how small it is, because you never know who's going to be in that crowd. You never
Correct.
know who you're playing in front of, right? And it
That's
can be
right.
somebody who can make or break your career. And so, kind of like it ties into what you just said, right? It doesn't
Mm.
matter how big or how small the show is. It's what you do when you get the opportunity. So I love hearing you say, because that the minute you said that's the first thing that popped through my mind is like the Columbia School of Broadcasting, where that's
Yep.
something they taught us.
That's it. Doesn't matter how big the crowd. You got to work it the same.
All right. So as we
Mm.
are winding down our interview here, how can our listeners get in contact with you or even to download your amazing music?
Okay, well, I've got all my singles, original songs, on Spotify and iTunes and Apple Music and all that. They can download them from there, or I can probably send out full albums. I've got CDs and merchandise. I have hats and T-shirts and all that sort of thing. My website's www.lancebirrell.com.au. And you can click on there and order from there. I'm pretty sure you should be able to do it. And then I've also got a Facebook page, Facebook music page, Lance Birrell Music. So if anyone wants to check that out and follow me or add me, and shows you where I go. On my website, I put up where I'm playing every week, as well as the merch that's available. And on my Facebook page, we normally put up live clips of what's going on. I've also got some live clips on YouTube. So there's a bit they can have a look at and contact me. That'd be great. Yep.
Yeah, maybe you can send us some of your merchandise so we can use that to give away on the radio station here.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
That'd be awesome.
Yep.
And let me ask you this: anything you want to share with our audience? Maybe something we haven't spoke about yet, but maybe it's something you'd like to share with them. This is your opportunity to do so.
Yeah, just keep your eye out for me if anyone's interested. I'd love to get over to the States one day. It's on the bucket list. I'm not sure when that'll happen because I'm too busy, but that's a good thing. So, but no, keep your eyes out for me and on my website or my Facebook page to see where I'm playing, and then hopefully enjoy my music and keep in touch if you want to have a chat. And look forward to that. That'd be good. Yeah.
Do you have any hobbies? If so, what are they?
Hobbies. I used to play a lot of sport. I still do a little bit of martial arts training here and there when I can. So I do a bit of taekwondo. I went and trained the other night, so that was good. Played a lot of sport over the years. Hobbies, mostly music. I guess is still a hobby as well as a job now, but I do enjoy listening to music. Um, yeah, watching a odd good movie when
That
I get
sounds
to.
good. Yep, there you go. I like that. I mean, because with all that training, right, it kind of keeps you in great shape, especially all the traveling that you do. I mean, keeps you in great shape and able, to do, keep that longevity going, right?
Yeah, well, that's it. You got to keep fit as well. We eat healthy on the road, which is pretty good. We do a lot of traveling, and then we do a bit of exercising and try and keep in shape for what we got to do. But even the shows, lugging the gear in and out and setting up and doing a 3 hour show was keeping us pretty fit. But yeah, no, it's been good.
What's next for you?
What's next? Well, we're just keeping doing what we're doing as long as we can. Yeah, so next year's pretty full up as well, probably till I've just booked October. So November onwards is free next year. So a lot of festivals and a lot of clubs and all that to do between now and then. Little bit of downtime, but not a lot. But I guess we'll take it while it's all there, because there was a time when we couldn't do any live music when COVID hit. So it's back in a vengeance, and the crowds seem to be out and about now, which is good to see. People have said, "That's it. We're just going to go out and live now. We can't keep locked up, and we'll go and enjoy some live music and get up and dance," which is great for me.
That's awesome. So
Yep.
when people listen to your music, what is the message that you're sending out to them?
Just for my original songs, just personal things that I've experienced. Uh, Instrumentals. I write. So a lot of people like instrumentals. So I still write a few instrumentals. I try and write a few every now and then. Just done another one recently. So that some people like that as well. So that's a bit of variety. You got to have variety in what you do, I think. So yeah.
Final question for you.
Hmm.
So here, on the Music Dreams USA Radio Artist Spotlight Show, right?
Yep.
We always ask this question to our artists in closing out the show. What is the funniest thing that's ever happened to you in the music industry? What is it, and do you still remember it now?
There's probably been lots of things in the band days. There were some funny things. We travelled for 4 hours to go and do a show from where we were, and the bass player forgot to bring his pants. So that was quite a funny one. So he had to go and borrow a pair of pants from someone in the crowd. Went home and got a pair of pants and brought back for him because he only had denim shorts and cowboy boots. That was probably not a good look at all. um, But we've had some funny, yeah, lots of funny things over the years, and you always think about them. Um, yeah, funny things that have happened, or also panic things that have happened, like you've gone to turn something on and there's no power. I played at a club a few months ago, and I was set up ready to go on stage, and the power went out. Someone had ran into a power pole and totaled the power right across the town, just as I was about to start. So I thought, okay, what are we going to do here? So I ran out of the car and got the acoustic guitar, and I ran back into the club, and I stood in the middle of the dance floor and sang acoustically with just an acoustic and no microphone, no anything, to the crowd. It was probably about 120 people there or something like that. Did that for an hour until the power came back on, and then they all cheered.
Wow.
So I thought that's ad-libbing. And then people have said to me, and there's not a lot of people that would have thought and would have done that. So they gave me a big cheer for doing that. So got to keep the show going.
I love that. I mean, that
Yeah,
just this shows how much you really love and care about the music, that you do, and just the music industry as a whole. The fact
yep.
that it wasn't the best of conditions, and you stepped up to the plate, and you did the right thing. So that's pretty cool that you were able
Just
to
got to
do that. So yeah,
just
kudos to
got to
you.
adapt to the situation. So those people there are just gone there to see me. So it's up to me to give back to them. That's what I feel. They're giving to me being there. So I got to give back to them. Works both ways.
Yeah. It
Yep.
was so nice to meet you, and what an amazing conversation we had here this evening, and just to get to know you, and it sounds like you're doing amazing. So continued success in what you do here, and any final thoughts you want to share as we wind down our show this evening?
I'd just like to thank you and keep up the good work with your show. And thank you for having me on. And I appreciate you taking the time to have me on the show. And all the listeners out there, take care and be safe and enjoy.
Absolutely. And we're gonna definitely have you back on the show. I mean, you're amazing, and I love interviewing artists like yourself. You're so talented, and inspiration, and and believe it or not, though, when you do the interviews, you can really get a lot of good feedback that you can actually use in your own personal life. And so thank you for sharing that feedback as well. And it's a pleasure to meet you. And on behalf of Stephen Brady and the Blue Shamrock record label, we appreciate you guys. And until the next time, my friend, you take care, be safe, and again, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Russell. Thanks for having me. And thanks, listeners, for tuning in. And we'll do it again. Thank you.
Yes, we will.